What up, everyone? It's your boy Floz and welcome back to another episode of Beyblade IRL. A name that I didn't think was going to be the name, but someone in the comments pointed out, hey, it's actually a pretty good name. So that's going to be the name of this, Beyblade IRL. In the future, I'll probably come up with a title card and an outro card, maybe. But today, no. And yes, I listened to a lot of you in the comments, and I've finally gotten a BB10 Stadium. And I will say, given the battles that I've done in this video with this stadium, I can definitely see what you guys are talking about now. I will say, I'm not the biggest fan of stadium mounts, because, I prefer, a total sleep-out defeat, if that makes any sense to you. But either way, we're getting off track. In this episode, we are going to figure out which Gravity Destroyer mode is the strongest. Now, my Gravity Destroyer is like the Hasbro with this color scheme. It's not the black and purple. Honestly, oh well. But, yeah. Alone, Gravity Destroyer has two distinct modes. If you see its fusion wheel and energy ring, if you switch it around, it can switch between counter mode and defense mode. The one it's currently in is counter mode. Defense mode would have this part open right here and cover this counter mode part right here. Gravity Destroyer is one of the very few Beyblades introduced before Metal Fury that actually has a mode change, and basically all Beyblades before Metal Fury that had mode changes either consisted of moving the spin track or the energy ring, not actual changes with the fusion wheel themselves. So given all this information, Gravity Destroyer, I say, has 4 distinct modes. Obviously, counter and defense, right rotation, and counter and defense, left rotation. So we're going to see which one of these 4 modes is the strongest. The mode it's in will be determined by an abbreviation in the corner: RD, right defense; RC, right counter; LD, left defense; LC, left counter. So, before we see how good they are in battle, let's conduct a quick stamina test. I will say, there was quite a vast difference in all their stamina abilities. But in terms of, most stamina to least stamina, or rather, other way around. Least stamina, it seems to have been left counter, then right defense, right counter, then left defense. Defense mode, I would expect to have more stamina, because I guess aerodynamically there's less resistance as opposed to the counter mode. So we know which one of them has the best stamina. But how will they perform in battle, though? Destroyer is going to be going up in battle against 4 different bays. The first one is going to be going up against is Galaxy Pegasus, 10 something light rubber flat. a very strong attack type Bay, and with this new stadium, I'm actually really interested to see what kind of battles, really what potential these kind of battles hold.
Let it rip. And let it rip. Galaxy Pegasus racing around the stadium. It actually looks much better in the stadium now that I'm seeing it. While racing, it's also moving around the stadium. Gravity Destroyer keeping its defense and power quite steady at the center of the stadium. But now with this new stadium, are there going to be any stadium outs? That one, oh, that was really close. And Gravity Destroyer beat his ass. Let it rip. And let it rip. Now Gravity Destroyer is going through its left rotation battles in defense mode. Pegasus is getting a few more hits on him now. And ooh, Gravity Destroyer is already off balance. But if he can continue spinning around Pegasus like this, Pegasus's stamina should run out first. But, oh yep, Destroyer spuns ever so slightly longer. Let it rip. And let it rip. If Destroyer's attacks were that strong in defense mode, I wonder just how strong they're going to be in counter mode. As usual, we have Pegasus just racing around the stadium, waiting to make that first strike. And there it is. But it does not look like it's going to be strong. Oh! Destroyer nearly hit. Destroyer nearly hit Pegasus out of the stadium. Let it rip. And let it rip. Oh, sheesh! I don't know if you saw where Pegasus ended up, but that was awesome. Destroyer lasted in the stadium, so he wins that one.
That last battle was definitely something I did not expect. But it looks like in order from best to worst, it was left counter, right defense, right counter, left defense. Surprisingly, the two different modes of left rotation, very different opposite ends of the scale, surprisingly. But either way, it's time to move on to the next set of battles. The next set of battles is going to be going up against Hades Kerbex, who in the anime absolutely demolished Destroyer and the Cetus team as well. And in the previous episode before this, which was... Actually, yeah, I think in the episode before this, we did Team Excalibur versus Team Starbreaker, where we did a similar thing. And it was really close. So I wonder how close these battles are going to be, actually. That's going to be interesting.
Let it rip. Oh, hit the camera. Let it rip. There you go. Now going up against Hades Kerbex. Probably... I was about to say a much more formidable opponent, but never mind. Let it rip. Let it rip. Alright, now going up against Hades Kerbex. This was a battle that we saw in the actual anime. I wonder how this sort of thing is going to fare out. Well, then, actually, now that I think about it, all these are battles that we saw in the actual anime, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But it looks like in defense mode and in right rotation, Destroyer isn't getting as much of a, as much of a stadium out as he did in the first go. But it does look like he's still holding on stronger than Kerbex is at the moment. Or actually, looking on it a bit further, they might actually be really even. Oh, and yet Destroyer still spun slightly longer than Kerbex did. Let it rip. And let it rip. Alright, I was gonna say let's readjust this, but never mind. Let it rip. And let it rip. This was a battle I did in Excalibur versus Starbreaker, and it was really close, but Destroyer ended up winning. Who is going to win in this battle, though? If history repeats itself, probably Destroyer. They seem to be rather tame right now, not causing any big hits or backlashes against one another. Let's readjust this a little bit. There you go. Sorry, I just wanted to make it a little bit more even. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, that one seemed honestly like a tie.
This one actually did have some unexpected results, because it seems that both the right rotation modes resulted in a stadium out. One in Hades Kerbex going flying, and one in Gravity Destroyer going flying. And it seems the left rotations seemed much more even in power compared to Hades Kerbex. But in the end, this is what it's looking like. Right counter definitely got the least because it got flung out of the stadium. Then we're going to go with left counter for resulting in, well, I honestly believe to be a tie. Then left defense because Destroyer was left slightly spinning longer. And then right defense, which flung Hades Kerbex right out of the stadium. It's interesting how formidable two foes can be. But we're getting off track. The next group of battles went up against Rock Zarafa. Again, a Hasbro version where it's like red and blue. But honestly, I kind of like this. Honestly, I kind of like this look as opposed to its regular look. Rock Zarafa, a insanely good defense type bay. And I've learned that the Rock Fusion Wheel against many other Fusion Wheels has very good like backlash, recoil, whatever the word I'm looking for is. So I'm going to be really interested to see what happens in these battles.
Let it rip. And let it rip. Now going up against Rock Zarafa, both really good defense types, and the clashes are pretty strong, both nearly getting stadium outs against each other. And not even on the areas where the gaps are. But it looks like Gravity Destroyer is starting to lose his balance. And it looks like Rock Zarafa is the one to win this battle. Let it rip. Let it rip. Now going up against Zarafa. Yeah, it seems with the opposing forces of reverse and normal rotation, the recoil and backlash isn't as strong as it would be if they were both going right rotation. It's still strong nonetheless. But it looks like Destroyer is losing its stamina though. Destroyer can't get... Oh, wait a minute. Even so, ever so slightly, left rotation, defense mode Destroyer seems to be doing pretty decently. Let it rip. And let it rip. Alright. Yeah, it shows just how much the defense mode does for Destroyer. I just want to watch it continue to go around. I don't know why this is funny to me, but it is. Stop attacking the stadium Destroyer. Oh, he's about to fall off. Wait, he's coming back, and wait, he's coming back. He's out the corner of the table. I'm sorry. Destroyer keeps almost falling off the table. Let it rip. And let it rip. Alright. Yet, in the battles with reverse rotation versus normal rotation, there is nowhere near as much recoil as we've seen in the previous ones, when it was right rotation versus right rotation. But it does seem like Zarafa is landing some pretty decent hits on him. I don't know if that's going to be enough, though. Actually, Destroyer is losing. Oh, I always speak too soon. And Destroyer lasts slightly longer.
It seemed when going up against Zarafa, Destroyer definitely had more luck when in left rotation mode. So I think in order from worst to best, it's going to look something like this. Definitely right counter is the worst because it got flung out of the stadium with one hit. Then again, Zarafa did get a running start around the stadium. Then we're probably going to go with right defense because it had a sleep out compared to the other two, where in left defense and then left counter, where Destroyer lasted ever so slightly longer than Zarafa. Point is, these battles were much more even, and it was kind of difficult to find a good placement for them. But I mean, come on. We can't have battles with a reverse rotation bay and not have them go against the evolution of the original reverse rotation bay. We have Medio l-drago right here that Destroyer's going to go up against. Medio l-drago, a left spinning attack type defense with the left flat performance tip, which I don't know if the ratios on this thing is off, but it might be because something about this isn't looking quite right. But oh well, already did the battles, so let's see just how they turn out.
Let it rip. And let it rip. Meteor l-drago getting a few good hits in on Gravity Destroyer, not being able to race around the stadium quite as fast as it would usually. And it looks like Gravity Destroyer was the winner in this one. Let it rip. And now it's 2 left rotation bays. It's weird for l-drago to go up against another left rotation bay, and he clearly does not last that long. Let it rip. And let it rip. Oh, l-drago's getting a good bit of speed going around the stadium. Is that going to help him, though? He's making his way closer to Destroyer. But I don't know, losing all that momentum in the beginning. Unless he gets one solid hit and flies him out of the stadium. Nope, Destroyer still lasted slightly longer than l-drago did. Let it rip. And let it rip. Alright. They seem to be getting a fair amount of hits on each other this time, but l-drago does not seem to fare well against other reverse rotation bays, because that'll happen instantly. Destroyer obviously destroying.
Obviously, when going up against l-drago, reverse rotation definitely helped a pretty good bit, destroying l-drago almost immediately. So, I think after all that, this is what's going to look like. The worst, but still pretty good, I'm going to say was right counter, because they were kind of even in that manner. Then we're going to go ahead and say right defense, because l-drago lasted longer against Destroyer in that one. And then to end it off, we're probably going to say left counter, left defense. Yeah, I think that's good. So after all that, this is what the final scores look like. I don't know. I haven't added them or edited them yet. But either way, this one right here, this is the best mode, apparently. I don't know what I'm pointing to yet. But Gravity Destroyer is definitely one of my favorite bays to have. So you know what? I think these are some pretty good tests that we've done. And I hope you enjoyed it as well. Ow! I had it in my hand! I've been Floz MG. This has been Beyblade IRL, which Gravity Destroyer mode is the best, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video.